Om Shri Ganeshaya Namaha. Om Shri Saraswatyai Namaha. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Samasta Jana Kalyane Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Sadgurum Brahma Vidvaram Neelambujasyamalako Sita Samaropitavamabhagam Pano Mahasayakacharuchapam Namami Ramam Raghuvamshanatham Atulita Baladhamam Hemashailaabhadeham Danujavana Krishanum Jnaninaamagraganyam Sakala Guna Nidhanam Vanaranamadhisham Raghupati Priya Bhaktam Vatajatam Namami. In Aranyakanda, we have seen that Ravana's plan has been put into action. After hearing from Shurpanakha, Ravana makes this resolve that if this person who she's speaking about is Bhagavan, then I will die at his hands. And if he is just a prince, then I will defeat him and I will attain glory. So Ravana goes to Maricha and explaining his plan to him, Maricha realizes that I can't fight with this Ravana. And if I go along with his plan, then I myself will die at Bhagavan's hands. That Bhagavan whom he has been thinking about for the past so many years, and whose devotee he has become. And therefore he agrees, saying that Bhagavan will run after me when I take this form. And so they both go to Panchavati. And there, Maricha assumes this form of a golden deer. And when he goes near the kutir where they are staying, Sitaji, who is now this Maya Sita, she sees this deer and she says to Bhagavan, I would like to have it. Please go and catch it for me. Bhagavan says to Lakshmanji that you stay here with Sita, use your buddhi viveka bala and think of the appropriate samay if you have to do anything. Saying so and leaving Sitaji in Lakshmanji's care, Bhagavan goes and he runs after this deer. And knowing who this deer is, knowing everything that's going to happen, Bhagavan runs. And at a certain distance, Bhagavan then releases his arrow and this deer is struck. And first, this Maricha takes Lakshman's name. And after that, remembering Bhagavan, Bhagavan recognizes what is there in Maricha's heart. And he gives him sadgati. He helps Maricha to attain himself, Bhagavan. And all the devatas are singing praises of Bhagavan. So this has happened. Now, what happens where Sitaji and Lakshmana, Bhagavan has killed Marich, and after he dies, we are seeing after Doha number 27 now. Now Bhagwan, having killed this Marich, Khala badhi turata phire Raghubira. Immediately Bhagwan turns back. Soha chapa kara kati tunira, holding his bow in his hand and with his quiver of arrows tied around his waist. Now, just now Tulasidas ji was describing that this Marich is so lucky, so fortunate to have attained this gati that Bhagwan has bestowed upon him. He's such a great devotee. And now immediately Marich is described as Khala. So Bhagwan recognizes Marich's love because he can see what's inside his heart. For everybody else, if we look at what Marich is doing, if we had no insight into what he was thinking, then we would also think he's Khala. Right? Because he's one going along with Ravana's plan. And because of him taking part in this plan, so many things are about to happen. He is the cause of all of this calamity which is about to take place. So for everybody else, he seems very wicked. But Bhagwan has seen what's in his heart. And that's why he has given him that highest attainment. So Bhagwan turns back immediately because he knows this Maricha has called out in my name. And he's not worried about Lakshman, but Sita ji now he knows will get worried. And something will happen. And so he turns back. And sure enough, Aratagira Sunis Jaba Sita. Sita ji hears this very distressed voice cry out, which she thinks is Bhagwan's voice, cry out to Lakshmana. And so she immediately is filled with fear. She is terrified. Kaha Lakshmana sana paramasabhita. She's so filled with fear. She says to Lakshman, Jahu begi sankata ati bhrata. Lakshman, quickly go. Your brother is in trouble. You need to help him. Now, Lakshman doesn't know, remember, Lakshman doesn't know that this is Maya Sita. So Lakshman's response here, Lakshmana bihase. Lakshman smiles. Kaha sunu mata. He says, listen, oh mother. Bhrakuti bilasa srishti laya hoi. Just by moving his eyebrows, this Bhagwan makes this whole creation and he destroys this whole creation. Sapane ho sankata parai ki soi. How can he get into trouble even in a dream? He will never be in such a state that somebody has to go and help him. Just now what we saw, Bhagwan single-handedly defeated the 14,000 Rakshasas along with Khara, Dushan and Trishira. And Sita ji saw that. And so now Lakshman here is wondering, how can she be worried? She knows that Bhagwan doesn't need any help. He is the supreme lord of creation. Bhagwan just has to raise his eyebrow like this, and whole creation will come into being. A whole creation will go into dissolution. And now she's telling me to go and help him. So he smiles. And if anybody is scared or angry in a heightened emotional state, and at that time you smile or you laugh, you don't take them seriously, then that just compounds the intensity of their emotion. So just this tiny mistake that Lakshmanji makes, and what happens? Normally, Lakshmanji is so serious. He's just doing his seva. He's not looking for entertainment here and there. He doesn't want to laugh also. And the one time he laughs, and what happens? He says, "Oh mother, that Bhagwan cannot be in trouble. Sita ji, marama bachana jaba Sita bola." Sita ji says, now speaks to Lakshman in such a way that is very hurtful, very cutting. And Sita ji also ordinarily would not have spoken to Lakshman in such a way. This is all happening because of Maya. And here also there is a lot of explanation given, because the Sita Bola, what it should be, so many people say this should be Sita Boli, right? Because in Awadhi, like in Hindi, the verb agrees with the gender of the whatever it's referring to. Okay? In English, the verb has no gender. So whether it's man or woman, he says, she says, that says remains the same. But in Hindi, you have to say, man can say bola, and woman should be boli. So there is a lot of explanation given here that Sita bola, one way of looking at it is that it needs to be corrected. And then the next line also will need to be corrected. But the fact that they are in disagreement, right? Sita and Bola, the fact that they don't match is just to show that what she says is just completely out of character for her. I mean, Sita ji would ordinarily never say whatever she said. And here Tulasidas doesn't even say, he doesn't even recount whatever she said to Lakshman. But it is so out of character. He's just called her mother, and she speaks to him in such a way. So Sita Bola is to indicate this, that this is very unusual. And then also what happens to Lakshmanji is very unusual. But there, Hari Prerita, prompted by Bhagwan from within, Lachimana Manadola, Lakshman's mind also gets disturbed. So now he is also he's very hurt actually, that Sitaji could speak to him in this way to cast doubt on his thoughts and his intentions. He thinks of her as mother only. And so to hear her say such things is very painful for him. And so his mind also gets disturbed. But Tulsidas reminds us this is all Hari Prerita. It's all happening because Bhagavan wants it to happen. So his mind gets disturbed and he realizes that, okay, maybe I should go. So what he does, Banadisi Deva Sopi Sava Kahu. He calls all the devatas of the forest. And he says, now you all need to look after Sitaji while I go. So he puts her in their care. Chale jaha Ravana sesi Rahu. And he goes there where Bhagwan is. Bhagwan is described as Rahu, because if Ravana is the moon, Bhagwan is Rahu. Rahu is that graha who makes the moon disappear, who as though swallows the moon. So that is Bhagwan. He is going to swallow Ravana. This is all this, whatever is happening, everything is painful. It's a very sad part of the story. That Sitaji could speak to Lakshmanji in that way, that Lakshmanji feels that now I have to go. He also gets very hurt. So he goes. Now what happens? Sitaji is alone. Now Sitaji is there in Panchavati, in this Parnakuti by herself. Suna beach dasakandhara dekha. Now this dasakandhara, this 10-headed Ravana, he sees that, okay, now is my opportunity. And so he comes there. Ava nikata, he comes close. But how does he come? Jati ke besha, he comes in the disguise of a yati, means a sannyasi, sadhu. Earlier, Shurpanakha also came in disguise. Here Ravana comes. How does he come in disguise? Disguise of a sannyasi. Because they were universally respected. And because he has done this one thing, even now, doubt remains in the minds of people when they see somebody in these ochre robes or something. Even now there is doubt. I don't know if he's genuine or not. Because Ravana has misused this Vesha. So, he comes. And who is he? Ja ke dar asura derahi. In fear of whom, that both Devatas and Asuras, not only that Devatas were scared of him and Asuras were very fond of him, everybody was scared of him. They were so afraid, Nisina need, in the night they couldn't sleep, Dina anna na khahi, and during the day they couldn't eat. Why? Because they're so scared of Ravana. So dasasis. In other words, this whole world is scared of him. Now, how does he come? So dasasis svanaki nai. He comes there like a dog. Pita uta chitai chala bhadi hai. How does he come? Looking here and there. In other words, looking around, making sure that Bhagavan shouldn't come while I'm here. He's so scared. Chala bhadi ai. He comes with this very sort of hesitating. Because he knows that this is wrong. And now Kakabhushandiji is telling Garudji, Imi kupantha paga deta khagesa, O Garuda. Anyone who steps onto a wrong path, rahana teja tana, buddhi bala lesa. That person, in their body, all brilliance will go, all strength will go, all intelligence will go. Means when you're walking on a path which you know is wrong, you will not have strength in your body, your intelligence will not remain, and that brilliance that comes from living a good life, from living a dharmic life, all of it will go the moment somebody steps onto the wrong path, kupanta. And that strength is not there. As long as you're aligned with something higher, then we have the strength to live in this world and do what is right. When we step onto a wrong path, it all goes. So this is Ravana. So he goes near, Nana Bidhi Kari Katha Suhai, and he starts talking first to Sitaji. He starts telling her various stories. Rajaniti, he starts talking to her about Rajaniti, starts scaring her, bhaya. but also Preeti Dekhai. He starts addressing her very affectionately. He's just talking. Sitaji is saying that this looks like some sannyasi. Kahasita sunu jati Gosai. She calls him Gosai. This is Goswami. Bole hu bachana dushta ki nai. You are speaking the words of a very wicked person. You look like a good person, but you're speaking very badly. You shouldn't speak to me like this. Taba Ravana nija rupa dekhava. Ravana shows his form. And when he shows his form, Sitaji is not so much afraid, but bhai sabhaya jaba nama sunava. When he tells her his name, then she is scared. Then she's filled with fear. In this world also, a wicked person looks just like anybody else, right? And so you can see them, you can walk past them, you can sit next to them also, but you won't be scared. Then when you hear their name, and you realize, oh my God, this is the person who I was sitting next to or who I walked past, then you feel scared. Thank God I just walked past and I didn't stop and say hello. Means that name is what will bring fear. Bhai sabhaya jaba nama sunava. Then Sitaji stops. Kahasita dhari dhira jagadha. She gathers her courage and she says, I gayo prabhu rahu khala thada. She says, wait. You're speaking to me like this? Just wait. My Bhagavan is coming. Oh khala. Oh wicked one. She says, Jimmy hari budhahi chudra sasachaha. You are like a tiny hare, a rabbit, and you see a female lioness, and you desire her. This is like what you are doing here. By having that desire in your mind, bhayasi kalabasa nisicharanaha, you have basically assured your own death. That's what you've done. Sunanda bachana dasasi sarisana. Ravana hears and he gets so angry, filled with rage. Mana mahacharana bandi sukhamana. But very interesting, what is said in his mind, he is bowing down to her feet and he is very happy to bow down to her feet. This is very strange. On the one hand, he's going there to kidnap her, and on the other hand, in his mind, he's bowing down to her feet. So if you remember earlier what happened, Ravana said, I will die at the hands of Bhagavan. And because Sitaji, by taking her, he knows that Bhagavan will come after her. And therefore he will die at Bhagavan's hands. For that reason, possibly that's why he is happy that she is going to allow all of this to happen. But also what is said is that the fact that we can't understand that so many apparently contradictory thoughts are taking place in his mind, it's difficult to understand. This is the Rakshasa Svabhava. Means you will not understand any Rakshasa, what they're thinking, why they're doing what they're doing. You can't reason with such a mind. So now what Ravana does, Krodhavanta taba Ravana linisi ratha baitai. Filled with rage, he takes Sita and he makes her sit in the chariot. Chala gaganapatha atura bhaya ratha hanki na jai. And he goes to this chariot is not traveling on the ground, this chariot is traveling in the sky. But he himself is so afraid, ratha hanki na jai. He's barely able to drive this chariot. So now they are, Sitaji is in Ravana's chariot. And now Sitaji is lamenting. What has happened now? After 28. This tune is different. Ha jaga ek bir raghuraya kihi aparadha bisare hudaya arati harana saran sukhdayak ha raghukula saroj dinanayak ha Lakshman tumhar nahi dosa subhalu payo kinhe urosa vibhida bilap karati baidehi bhuri kripa prabhu duri sanehi विपति मूरी को प्रभु ही सुनावा पुरोडास चह रास भखावा सीता के बिलाप सुनी भारी भये चराचर जीव दुखारी. Stop to here. Now Sitaji is in this chariot and she says, Ha jaga eka veera raghuraya. She is lamenting. This ha is this. That, oh Raghuraya, you are the greatest and in fact the only courageous person in this world. Eka veera raghuraya. Kihi aparadha bisare hudaya. Means what mistake have I committed that I forgot you? The translation that is given, it means she's saying, what mistake have I done that you have given up your compassion? Kehi aparadha bisare hudaya. Means you are so compassionate and yet this is happening to me. And the cause of all of this is happening, why this is happening is because mind went away from Bhagavan. Really, this is the question we should also ask. Not that Bhagavan has become uncompassionate. What mistake have we made that we forget Bhagavan? Why our mind goes away from him? Arati harana sarana sukhadayaka. You are the one who takes away all sorrows. You are the refuge. You are the giver of joy. Ha raghukula saroja dinanayaka. You are the sun for all the lotus flowers of this Raghukula. You are the one who makes everyone bloom and blossom. Sitaji thinks of, what did I say to Lakshman? Ha Lakshmana tumhara nahi dosa. Oh, Lakshman, there is no fault in you. So phalu paya keen heu rosa. I got angry, and immediately I'm experiencing the result of that. One of the biggest offenses that anyone can commit is to insult a sadhu. That will be said later. And Sitaji says, Lakshman, I spoke to you in such a way that now I'm being punished for that. I'm receiving the result of that karma. Vividha vilapa karati vaidehi. Sitaji is lamenting in this way. Bhuri kripa prabhu duri sanehi. Bhagwan is so full of compassion, but his love, and he is so far away. Even though his compassion is endless, I'm being taken away from him. She says, Bipati mori ko prabhu hi sunava. Who will tell Bhagwan about this, what I'm going through, about my suffering? Ko prabhu hi sunava. Puroda sachaha rasabha khava. She says, as though a donkey wants to eat this purodasa. So this purodash, there are certain rituals in which this special naivedyam is prepared. And that naivedyam, after the yajna or whatever is over, not everybody is allowed to eat it. Normally what happens after any yajna or puja, etc., everybody gets prasad. Right? Everybody gets to eat that prasad which is distributed. But this purodasha can only be eaten by the yajamana and the purohit. Means not even the other people who are helping there or whatever. They can't consume that. It is very special. She says it's as though some donkey has come and now wants to eat that naivedyam, that prasad. In other words, Ravana is like that donkey. And Sitaji is comparing herself to that purodash. In that, she says, I am only for Bhagavan. I am not for anybody else. And this Ravana thinks that he can just take me. Sita ke bilapa suni bhari. Now hearing this terrible or this sorrow of Sitaji's, that she's lamenting so much, she's in such great distress. Bhaye charachara jiva dukhari. The entire forest, everybody now is plunged into sorrow. Not only all living creatures, but even all inanimate things in the forest. It means all the animals. The description is given in Valmiki Ramayana that the whole forest becomes still. Everything stops moving. Leaves on the trees stop fluttering. The animals are all frozen. And all just have, deers and all, everybody is just crying. So not only trees and plants and animals, but also the achara, also the inanimate, means stones. Everything is just melting in this sorrow of Sitaji's. This sorrow is of separation. Okay? That's her sorrow, that she is away from Bhagavan. Now, somebody comes to help, to try to help. So, that we will see next time.